Welcome back, friends, for the next part of the Alpha League list review. It's going to be a bit more of a chilled out one. So let's start by looking at Damien's list. It's a little Imperium number I like to call taking AdMech and Knights. So as we can see here we have a AdMech detachment of Forge World Lucius. So that's ignore AP -1, which is super good right now, really is. And they also have a stratagem for teleporting or deep striking 1 unit for 1 CP. This guy has taken Inquisitor Hector Rex, really good choice for AdMech. No psychic powers for AdMech, so that's a good inclusion, and he gives leadership buff. AdMech has pretty low leadership, so that works really well. Then we have Tech Priest, we have Daedalosus for his really good +1 to hit ability. Just a solid pick there. 50 points as well. He's fucking cheap as chips. Tech Priest Dominus. I'm not really sure about Tech Priest Dominus anymore. I guess it's a reliable way to get reroll ones, but I would prefer to just go with, if this is just, it's Brigade. So I would go with Daedalosus, a Manipulus, because Manipulus is really good, and either a second Manipulus or a Engine Seer. But he is gone for the Dominus. He's got the Warlord trait Monitor Marvelous, which is the CP regen Warlord trait. And then the Tech Priest Manipulus has the Lucius Relic, the Solar Flare, which is a teleport. So he, at the start or at the end of a movement phase, he can teleport that unit anywhere. So really good for grabbing late game objectives or deep striking in with one of your other units, which I think is what he's going to do. Because his +1 to move, advance, and charge ability can affect... actually, no, because he can't move in any way if he does that. I think that might be right. Oh no, it's range he has to boost to stay still. So movement he can move and he can teleport and boost the move, advance, and charge of any unit in 6 inches by 1 inch. So that's really good for what's coming up next, I can see. And then we have 6 groups of just basic Atari Rangers, 35 points, super cheap, fairly durable with 6 up invuln. Yeah, just really good units, really. He has 16 Fulgurite Electro Priests. Really good if they get all their buffs off. They can have a 3-up invuln or a 2-up invuln, one of the only units in the game that still does that. A 2-up invuln if they're standing on an objective, and a 5-up Feel No Pain. Really, really tanky units if you can get them to that point. The problem is getting to that point. And their attacks are great. On a 6 to wound, they do D3 mortal wounds. It's you can just chew through everything, really. Hoplites. I don't really like Hoplites that much. They've got a 4-up invulnerable against melee and a 5-up against ranged, I think. And then they have a sort of short-ranged attack, and then their melee is okay. They're pretty cheap for what you're getting. 15 hoplites for 135 points, not bad at all. They're only 8 points per model. Quite good. Group Servitors. And then 3 Iron Striders with twin las cannons, just to be that little bit of anti-tank sitting in the back. And they're pretty unappealing to shoot because they're 6 wounds, toughness 6 with a 6-up invulnerable. And you don't really want to sacrifice a whole anti-tank weapon to kill it. It's annoying. I mean, you have to at the end of the day, but it's annoying. Then we have a Neutron Onager Dunecrawler, which I do not think is worth it. I think if you're ever going to take a Neutron Onager, either take a Scorpius with the Firmite Cannon, which is much better, or take a Icarus Onager. Always better to take an Icarus Onager than a Neutron one. Even against toughness 8, you're still going to be better with a Icarus Onager. And then he has a Night Crusader with Avenger Gatling Cannon and Thermal Cannon to round everything off. House Tyrannus, don't really know why. Oh, because he can come back on a... Actually, gives him a shed load of CP to make that Knight keep standing back up. It's not bad, but the Knight won't get a 6-up Feel No Pain, which is where the Tyrannus Knights really get their durability from, I think. Yeah, overall, good list. A lot of AdMech, which I like to see. AdMech is the best faction. Some weird choices. If I was running a brigade, I probably wouldn't take this Neutron Onager. I'd probably just take another Scorpius. Iron Striders, yeah. I mean, you don't really need this Neutron Underger when you have 6 las cannons in the back. That's what I'm mainly going for here. This could be an Icarus Onager or another Scorpius, and it'd be fine. Better, even. Hoplites, get them out of here. Hoplites are... They're okay, but for your points and your... for your points and what else you could spend that points on, it's not worth it. That's 125 points if you just brought another Servitor squad. 125 points that you could spend on making some of these Rangers breachers. We all know breachers are the best units in the game. Or take a drill. Cut that out. Take a drill. Put the priests in a drill. Cut it down to 10 priests. Done. Bob's your uncle. Then you can charge a drill and priests in throw lines. It's pretty strong. So that is our AdMech list. Now let's go on to Salamanders. So Salamanders. What we got here? We have a battalion, and we have another battalion, and then we have a spearhead. Interesting. So we have the lieutenant, the classic lieutenant. Jump pack for the rerolls. We have Primaris Librarian, and then we have 9 sniper scouts. I'm not really sure how that works. And then we have 2 bolt gun scout squads. Oh no, those are tactical squads. What the heck? Very interesting choice, taking 130 points of sniper scouts when it's probably better to take 72 points of eliminators. Yeah, and then upgrading all these to intercessors. But I mean, this is an old school list, I think. Just with the inclusion of like a Primaris Librarian. And then we have a Rhino, which is strange. Second battalion has Captain on Bike, Storm Shield, Thunderhammer, Twin Bolt Gun, Librarian and Phobos, Incursors, double Incursor Intercessor. This is weird. It's like everything here could be like Raven Guard almost. Like this could be a White Scars, or yeah, basically a White Scars detachment. This could be a Raven Guard or anything detachment. Really, could be nothing. And then this thing down here, this could all be. I don't know. That's the one I just did. And then this all down here could be like a. I don't know. Actually, it's a strange list. Not sure how this does. Really, 3 Vindicators. Very short range. Centurions are short range. 9 Intercessors. Bolt Rifle. Yeah, it's a weird one. I think he just kind of walks up the board and I don't know what, but something blocks for everything else. Yeah, interesting to see. Be nice to see how it works out. I don't think it'll work out depending what his opponents are, but it's interesting to see Vindicators being used again. I'm just wondering why he's chosen Salamanders. It's just a weird choice to me. Okay, now we're on to Data Hurst, or Data Thrust, or Datat Hurst, with his Talrens. So we have a brigade, which is pretty normal. Emperor's Blade Assault Company. I don't think I've ever seen that. What? I actually don't even know what that does. Oh look, we've got Sentinels, Salamander Scout Tanks. Wow. Leman Russ, Wyvern, and then a bunch of Chimeras. Whoa. Oh. The sniper rifle, So they've all got sniper rifles. Oh no, some of them have sniper rifles. I'm guessing he's going to be putting the guardsmen in the Chimeras. It's the only way I could see that happening. And then they're kind of protected. Yeah, and the Chimeras aren't anything to really shake a fist at either. It's like 2 heavy bolters and a storm bolter, not bad. And then he's got an Emperor's Fist tank company with a Primaris Psyker, tank commander. Yeah, so Yeah, obviously hammers Thunderance on 1, and then he's got his Psyker to give it -1 to hit, or -1 to be hit, and +1 save, or whatever. Yeah. Strange makeup of the brigade, I think. Yeah, quite strange makeup of the brigade. Be nice to see how it works out. I know I say that for a lot of these, but genuinely, a lot of these I am curious as to how they play, and like especially in ITC format, how these sort of weird off the wall lists kind of perform. I'm genuinely quite interested. So we have Tyranids next. High Fleet Behemoth with a Molanthrope and a Swarmlord, and then some Genestealers, Rippers, Maliceptor, Melodic Spores. Never seen them before. Don't even know what they are. And then a Chronos of Malanthrope, Neurothrope, Termagant, Hiveguard, Exocrine. A weird mix mash, I think, here of Genestealer and Termagants and Hiveguard. I kind of think if you're going to be playing Tyranids, you have to go 3 Exocrine, or you go 3 Exocrine Hiveguard, or you go loads of Genestealers, or you go Termagants and Exocrines. You have to kind of you have to do one thing well, I think, with Tyranids, because if you try and generalize too much like this is doing, your 1 Exocrine, it can die very easily. And then your 6 Hiveguard, they can die very easily. And then what do you have left on the board? You have 38 Genestealers, which can be Tremor Shelled or just wiped out by some armies, or they can actually get tied down by armies like Orcs. And then you're looking at basically all you have left after that is Termagants and characters, which isn't great. Like, when you cut down what this army is made up of, it's made up of Exocrine, Hiveguard, Genestealers, and then everything else is just like bleh. Yeah. Everything else is support, but the support's not good enough to like the primary stuff isn't good enough to like last against some armies, and they could just die. So I think this might struggle just because it's not specialized enough. On to Dragon, who is playing the classic Knights Blood Angels Admech, which I think might see a little... Oh, actually, this is not classic at all. What the hell is this? House Krast, which is the wrong answer. Tyrannus is the best one, I'm afraid. Especially if you're going to be running these small knights. Yeah, Tyrannus makes these small knights just last so much longer than they should, and it's much better. I wonder why he's made this Armiger Warglaive a character. Weird choice, weird flex. Yeah. Okay, so that's the House Krast. It's weird. The Warglaives I get will do better as House Krast, but I don't think it's good enough in my mind. It's not better than Tyrannus. Especially, you have all this melee threat, and then you go into your Blood Angels attachment, and you have your 2 Smash Captains. And then your Inquisitor as well. Everyone's taking Inquisitor now if they're going Imperium. It's such a good choice. Yeah, and then you have your Scouts and your Infiltrators. I don't know why you'd take Infiltrators. There's really no point. You've got nothing to screen against Deep Strike 4. Like, your army isn't going to care that much, really. I think it maybe you've gone too heavily into Warglaives, because that's what 6 Warglaives times 12 is 60, 70, 78 wounds of Warglaives. It's only T7. And they're pretty flimsy for what they are. I think Tyrannus would have given it that little edge. That's just and a Knight Preceptor, I guess, but Preceptor's not that great though. And then 3 Vanguard squads and 2 Engineers, standard Styges. Sorry, it's Graia actually. Oh, standard Admech detachment anyway for CP regen. So yeah, pretty standard, except for this weird makeup of knights. It's pretty standard for the old Admech Knights Blood Angels soup. So next thing is going on to Dragon Queen Nissan. This is one of my actual opponents. So they're running a battalion of Scion Jackals, So 3 Tempestor Primes, and then loads of Tempested Scions. So the first 2 squads are just base, and then the other 2 squads all have plasma guns, so they're going to be super dangerous. And then we have 2 command squads, full melt guns, also very dangerous. And then we go into the 2nd Battalion, which has an Inquisitor, because everyone takes Inquisitors, 2 tank commanders, and 3 infantry squads, 2 astropaths, and a Manticore Wyvern. So yeah, it's there as Talaran as well, so you get all the fancy outflank maneuvers and stuff. And yeah, this is there to be the tanks. Interestingly enough, they haven't taken Emperor's Fist tank company, so their tank commanders aren't going to be great. I mean, they're still great, but they're not going to be amazing. Yeah, Manticore is pretty standard nowadays. Wyvern, I see people taking them more. I think it's because they're under Mark for Death points. Could be wrong. And then they have the Assassin detachment. 3 Vindicars, a Calexius, and a Caladius. Vindicars, taking 3 of them is a ballsy move. I don't really agree with it. Vindicars are not great. That's 3 shots. You've paid, how much is that? Just below 300 points, 285 points for 3 heavy shots. And yeah, the damage potential on characters is pretty good. It's pretty high. You could kill, I think I managed to kill 2 characters in 1 turn with 1 Vindicar. But that was the first time I've ever seen that happen. I'd say against Space Marine characters with 3 Vindicars, you're going to be lucky to kill 1 a turn, which is still good, but they can still hide it. The Vindicar doesn't have outline of sight shooting. And then the Calexis is just great for the CP shenanigans. Sorry, that's Calidus. The Calidus is great for the CP shenanigans because so many armies run low CP nowadays, and making them waste that precious CP is really good. And then a Calexis for anti-Grey Knights, I guess. Although, when I played Grey Knights with my Calexis, it didn't work out too great. Because they have the Ignore Ballistic Skill modifier power, and it really, really messes you up. But it's still good against a lot of other armies as well. So, dude, why Dreadnought? Excellent name. Amazing. Huh. So, Common Ground GT. I'm just going to quickly Google search this. So, this is a Scottish guy. I think we can deduce that. Or someone from the north of England. I'm not going to dox a guy. But basically, I can see this as being either a net list or a list this guy's taken to a recent event and he's just using it here. So it looks like Hungry for Battle, Master Artisans, Draven Guard Successors. Very standard stuff. And then he has... yeah, it's the standard... It's the standard Raven Guard. Inceptors are a bit weird, so Assault Bolters, but they basically function kind of like aggressors, where they drop in, they have a ton of shots. Pretty good. I think people are missing out on not giving these Intercessor squads a melee weapon, even a Power Fist, because and Stalker Bolt rifles are really not great anymore, especially if you're not a Devastator army. Because you don't get the bonuses for the Stalker Bolt rifles. So they're just, in Devastator, they're only getting AP -3. That's their only advantage. I think you're always better to go Auto Bolt Rifle, especially for Raven Guard, because you want to be advancing and in people's faces. 2 Inceptors, Thunderfire Cannon, standard enough stuff. Same deal here with this Raven Guard. Captain with a Jump Pack Stormfield Thunderhammer. And then a Chaplain who seems to be a Master of Sanctity. Maybe. 2 more Intercessor squads, 1 with a Thunderhammer. I would want to make points for Thunderhammers for every Intercessor squad I had. It's only 16 points, and if you have 6 squads, it's like 96 points for the ability for your Intercessor squads to kill a lot more stuff. And then Aggressors, 4 of them. No, 5 of them. And then Centurions with Flamers. In my mind, if you're playing Raven Guard, and you're doing this Centurion bomb turn 2, you take 12 cents. I mean, there's no reason to just do 6. Your aggressors turn 1 are going to Master Bamboo Shin, and then turn 2, your Centurions, you drop 12 of them, and you break the back of the enemy army. That's the idea behind it. So I would drop these 2 Inceptor squads, and fuck it, you probably don't even need a Thunderfire cannon if you're playing Raven Guard. Thunderfire cannons are very specific, I think, now, especially with the nerf they got. They're very specific in what armies need to run them. Raven Guard, I don't think, is one. Ultramarines do need to run them. Fists probably still need to run at least one. Probably just one. And Iron Hands Infantry probably doesn't need to run them. And I think it varies a lot between different armies. I don't think Raven Guard needs to run a Thunderfire cannon anymore. Because you're going to be dropping it anyway. Yeah. Good enough list. Just, it's a lot of the lists are a bit half and half on what they want to do, and I think you should try and do one thing properly. I think that's my idea anyway. So we have Elite Slayer, and his Ultramarines. So he has taken, it's actually base Ultramarines. So he has Calgar and a Lieutenant. Incursors. Incursors, Scouts, Vanguard Vets with Lightning Claws. Very interesting choice. Wondering what the idea behind them is. Assault Squad with Jump Pack as well. So he's got a lot of Jump Infantry, actually. Very interesting, actually. These are just Assault Squads. Nothing. Wow. And then 2 Eliminator Squads. And then on to the 2nd Battalion, he's got a Primaris Captain, a Tech Marine, who's going to be a Master of the Machines, got +1 to hit for any vehicles in 6 inches of him. We haven't actually seen any vehicles yet, so hopefully they come up soon. A Intercessor Squad with Auto-Bolt Rifle, Intercessor Squad Auto-Bolt Rifle, 3 Auto-Bolt Rifles, and a Chainsword on the Sergeant. Fine, honestly, if you're not going to give them a Thunderhammer, at least give them a Chainsword. Extra attacks so that they can get out of melee really helps Intercessors. But I like the extra damage as well, so they can get out of like high health wraps, which happen quite a lot now. Aggressors, just 3 of Victrix Honor Guard, Repulsor Executioner, Impulsor. Now, the question here is a single Repulsor Executioner enough reason to take a Master of the Machine Tech Marine? I don't think it is. That's 2 CP, because you spend it on Hero of the Chapter and Master of the Forge. 2 CP to get +1 to hit on your Repulsor. It's not worth it at that point. You don't need it. And the Repulsor itself is iffy choice as well. I would, if I was making this list, I'd look for ways to make this Aggressor Squad a 5 or 6 man. I can't remember what the cap is. I think it's 5. Which would be looking at these Assault Squads, because I don't know what they do. Even the Vanguard Vets, I'm not sure why they're there. Yeah. This Repulsor, it will die in a turn if you give the enemy a chance. And then that's like a good portion of your list just gone. Because it also means you spent 2 CP on the Tech Marine for him to do nothing. Nothing the entire game. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. It seems like quite a hard one. Hard one to play. Hard one to win with. Embergen, who is playing Eldari. So we have a Expert Crafters and Masters on Concealment, so I think that means they're always in cover, and Expert Crafters is the Salamander reroll. Autarch Skyrunner, Farseer Skyrunner, Warlock Skyrunner, all the Skyrunners. Storm Guardians out the asks, they're cheap. Shiny Spears. Falcons, I see these guys coming back in force. I think it's because of the access to pulse lasers and star cannons, and they're really super cheap. But they can still be marked for death, actually. 120 points puts them on that dangerous edge. Standard, really. That is pretty standard. And then they have a Expert Crafter Masterful Shot, so ignore cover and rerolls with the Warlock, Skyrunner, 3 Night Spinners, And an Airwing of 3 Crimson Hunter Exarchs. And what's even weirder is he hasn't made these Alatok. He's given these cover instead. I am of the opinion that -1 to hit is always more powerful than being in cover. Especially when I think that they don't have an invuln with that Exarch power. Pretty sure. I think that actually means they don't suffer any penalty for moving firing heavy weapons. I can't really remember. But I think Crimson Hunters, they're pretty flimsy if you don't give them the minuses. Like, being -2 or 3 to hit makes them so much better, and just being -1 or 2 is a lot easier to deal with for pretty much every army. Even Guard will have not that much of a problem killing them. So yeah, it's got the outline of a standard Eldari build. Like, you got the Shining Spears, you got the Falcons, you got the Night Spinners. I'm not sure about the craft roll choice here. And yeah, that's maybe it, actually. And Dark Reapers. I think Dark Reapers are really good, and you may as well take them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's an Eldari list. It'd probably do fine. It'd probably be fine. So we're on to Erlox, who is playing Tyranids. We've got a lot of Tyranid players. Or, not a lot, but we've got a few. So, we've got Malanthrope, Swarmlord, Hormagaunts. Amazing. No one ever runs Hormagaunts nowadays. Kronos as well. And what is this? Biometallic Cysts Pack Hunters. No idea what that is. Kronos, Neurothrope, Tyranid Prime. Tyranid Warriors. Wow. Tyranid Warriors, Hive Guard, Zoanthrope, Biovores, Exocrine. So, see, this is... A lot of people are going into this. They've got one of each thing. They've got one Exocrine, one Biovore, Zoanthrope, Hive Guard, Tyranid Warriors. I don't get it. What is the point? Why not? If you're going Tyranid Warriors, why do you not have 3 groups of Tyranid Warriors? Why don't you spec your entire Hive fleet, custom or otherwise, into doing Tyranid Warriors? Not, oh, I'll put Tyranid Warriors in this group, and then I'll also take some Hive Guard, and I'll also take some Biovores, and I'll also take an Exocrine. Because they don't all synergize with each other in the same hive fleet, and they don't all synergize with each other in the same army. Up against a shooting army with a Thunderfire cannon that can Tremor Shell you, you're going to really struggle, because your Tyranid Warriors are going to be slogging it out in your deployment zone, and then your Exocrine's going to die, your Biovore's going to die, your Hive Guard are going to die. And then you've got all these foot-slogging elements that don't have a lot of synergy together. But that's just the problem with Tyranids right now, I think. Everest85, who was the 2018 Grey Knights ITC Best in Faction. Have a look at his list. So he's got Battalion, 2 Grandmasters and Nemesis Dread Knights. Strike, 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 strike. Many strikes. Christ, I actually need to read this. Strike, strike, strike. Yes, so 3 strikes, min strikes. Librarian, strike, strike, strike. Yep, okay. So 6 strikes, standard. Apothecary, standard. Supreme Command. Interesting. Oh yeah, okay. I see what he's done. So Brother Captain, Chaplain, Tech Marine, weird. And then Paladins. Is it just the 10 Paladins? It looks like it. Yep, I think just 10 Paladins. So yeah, 6 Strike Wads, 10 Paladins, 2 Dread Knights, and a bunch of characters, basically. It's Grey Knights. It's really good now. It's hard to kill the Paladins, so it's hard to kill the characters by default. The Dread Knights are just good, because your guns get great. And you can make them -1 to hit if they stand in cover, I think. I think that's for everything. Yeah, they're good. They're good things. He's a good player, and, like, it's a good list. The amount of damage it can put out in every phase of the game is just crazy. Evil Muffin. So, Blood Angels, Astoreth, Lamartes, 3 Scout Squads, and then a shed load of Death Company and Sangguard. And Rapier Carriers, very weird choices there. Because they can't take Thunderfire Cannons, I know that, but taking the Quad Heavy Bolter Rapier Carriers, I'm trying to think of why he would take that. And the only thing I can think of is he's worried about fighting hordes and being overwhelmed. Because why else would you take them, is my question. And then he's got Mephiston, Liberian Dreadnought, 3 Scout Squads, and an Ancient. Yeah, it's a Blood Angels list. It's full of attacking. It's full of loads of damage. It's full of really hard to kill things on the Sanguinary Guard. Yeah. The Rapier Carriers are a weird choice. I wonder why he is taking them. That's my only wonder. Everything else is just the outline of a good Blood Angels list. Probably ripped through quite a lot of people. Face Man or Face Visage, playing the old Tau Empire. He has got a Cavalry Fireblade, Commander Shadow Sun, 3 strike teams, shed load of broadsides, strike, tactical, shield drones, obviously, and then 3 Riptides, basically. So I've looked at this list before. I have some worries. First is he has 2 marker lights in the entire thing, 2 marker lights, which is a problem. And then the second problem I can see is that I don't know if anyone else can see it, but I can see that he only has what looks like 18 drones, 18 shield drones. Is that right? 18. I can't see any more anywhere else. Unless I'm being an idiot. Oh no, there's 6 there. So 24 drones. But these are going to be dropping. Actually, these guys can't deep strike. So, unless they have a power or something, I don't know. So you've got 24 drones for 3 Riptides and 3 broadsides. It's not enough. 3 Riptides, they need 40 or 35 drones. Especially when you've spec'd so heavily into this one with the upgraded ion cannon. Like 24 drones isn't hard to kill at all, and they're groups of 6 as well, so you can't spread them out, and you have to stay in your bubble, which really isn't great. This is, I feel like this list will struggle with things that can kill drones quickly, which is a fair few armies nowadays. They can kill drones in decent amounts. The broadsides don't really get. The rail rifles I don't think are great. I think really if you're going to do this sort of thing, it should be a crisis bomb. I don't... Why this? Why this and not just more this is my problem, because Riptides can kill things enough as it is. They can kill shitloads of guys. They don't need the broadsides to kill more stuff. But they need more drones to stay alive. So if you've got 4 groups of 6 drones, that's only 24 times that your Riptides aren't going to get shot. Or maybe slightly more because of the field no pains. Maybe 30 times. And then eventually, probably turn 3 or turn 2 or 3, this Riptide's going to die. And then this Riptide's going to die the next turn. And then this Riptide's going to die the next turn. And then it's turn 5. And you don't have any Riptides. And turn 5 and 6 for towers, normally they're swing turns. Because that's when they still have their Riptides and they come back and they do fucking shitloads of damage. And they get in all the points and they get kill more, hold more bonus for the entire rest of the game. And they get swings of like up to like 18 points in 2 turns. And that's where Tau plays ITC in the last turns of the game. The first few turns are doing the damage and mitigating the other damage. So I think this is a weird setup. I think this might end up being wasted points, but we shall see, shan't we? Right, next up we have Fushini, who looks like he's playing Imperium Soup. So you see, this is what I was saying. So we have Styges Battalion with Tech Breach Dominus and a Enginseer, and 3 Scorpius Disintegrators with Belarus Energy Cannons. This is a decent detachment, 445 points for 3 decent bodies, 2 decent characters, and a lot of outline and sight shooting. And a lot of gun in general, and a lot of like health just to have. It's a decent detachment to just take as Imperium. I would maybe switch out the Dominus for a Manipolist for the extra range, because I think that might be more useful. That's the only thing I can think of. I think I would do. And then we have, we have a battalion of Itonian Dragoons. So 3 Tempestor Prime and a shed load of Tempest Scions. And that's it. Okay. And then we have another battalion with 3 tank commanders. Yeah, this is your standard gunnery experts and jury repairs. Gunnery experts, I think, is reroll one of the dice for the number of shots. And repairs is regen 1 wound a turn, and on a 6 it's D3. I think that's what it is. So really good for a tank battalion. So he's got 3 tank commanders. One's going to have a Hammer Resonance. There it is. The Punisher Gatling Cannon. That's an interesting one. Weapon Expert. I think that gives it an extra AP. Could be wrong. That's the tank ace there. And then 3 infantry squads. 2 Astropaths for the psychic buffs. Platoon Commander for something. Who cares? Armored Sentinels. For some reason. I suppose they got quite a lot of stratagem support. I don't know if it's going to be enough. And then 2 Basilisks for in the rear end, I guess. So it's got a fair amount of outline and sight shooting, and it's got 3 tank commanders which have a lot of punch. This detachment in the middle, who knows? Who knows what this is for, and who knows what it does? I guess it's there to just drop in and dump a load of shots on something. But I don't know if this how many points? This 500 points might be better served anywhere else, doing anything else. But that's something that I'm sure he'll play to the strength of the Tempestus. Now we have Jen Wilhelm, who has got the smallest list in history. Oh my god, this is amazing. Look at this. Commissar Yarrick. This is a Vanguard detachment. Gunnery Expert Jury Repairs, just like the last one. 3 Astropaths. Trojan Support Vehicle. See, this thing is amazing. +1 to hit for a vehicle in 6 inches. Really good. Really good. And then a same thing, Gunnery Experts Rig Repairs, which is really good on this sort of thing actually. Baneblade with Halt Cannon, Demolisher Cannon, Twin Heavy Bolter. Macuris Vulcan with 3 Heavy Stubbers and Twin Heavy Stubber. And this has a big stubber, a big like Vulcan Mega Bolter, I think. Or it's like a 60 shot, AP -1, strength 5 or something like that. Or it shoots twice or something. It's really good. And then 2 Schwado swords, which is just crazy. And then he's got the reinforcement points for a assassin as well. Like, so much armor here, so much toughness 8, hard to shift, big gun, re-rolling the shots because of gunnery experts, regenning health because of jury rig repairs. Oh, and then he can give them 2 tank ace traits because Commissar Yarrick can lose his warlord trait and give it to one of these, and then he can spend a CP on another one. So just all over really good. Well, I don't know. Let's see if it's really good, but it's a tank list. It's fun to watch. And then we have this guy called Glarg. He's got a really interesting list, actually. This is my list. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done. So when I was playing Imperial Fists, after the FAQ or the patch, I noticed a problem with Imperial Fist was positioning and damage. So the artillery list that Ambush was running was really good on the damage front. Because turn 1 it did a shitload of damage. Turn 2 did a shitload of damage because you had Devastator up for 2 turns. It still had some problems, like the Whirlwind Scorpius. It really high damage, but in turns 1 and 2, it was really easy to be outranged because 48 inch range and you lose half your output if you move. It means you were keeping the Scorpius for turns 2, 3, and 4, where they would have to come into range, and then you could fire twice at them. So because Devastator Doctrine's gone now, we don't want that anymore. We don't want turn 2, 3, and 4 to happen. We want turn 1 to happen, and then we want turn 2, our opponent to quit the game. Which sounds like a shitty way to play the game, but Imperial Fists, that's how you play the game now. And also, so many people are bringing mech and knights and tanks. It's just, they thought Imperial Fists were going to go away, and I've taken them back, and I've made them worse. So I have Imperial Fists, Air Wing Detachment. So this is fixes the first problem with Imperial Fists, which was maneuverability and getting line of sight. I've got 2 Fire Raptor assault gunships. They've got 24 heavy bolter shots each. They've got 2 twin las cannons each, and they've also got a Avenger bolt cannon each, which all bolt weapons explode for Imperial Fists. So the Avenger bolt cannon is 10 shots, strength 6, and explodes on 6s, which is just mental. It's just crazy. It's dumb. So these two things, they can easily kill a knight by themselves. Like, easily kill a knight by themselves. And then when you add in stratagem support and stuff like that, they can do a lot more. The damage output of Fire Raptors is crazy with Imperial Fists. And I've also got 2 Storm Talons. They're there to help take out screens for characters I want to kill. Because with this, I can kill... This can kill 30 Orc Boys in 1 turn. This can kill 30 Orc Boys in 1 turn. This can kill 15. This can kill 15. So I can kill 90 boys in 1 turn. With rerolls, and we'll get to the rerolls. So everything here is geared towards killing infantry as quickly as possible. Because I'm Imperial Fists, I kill vehicles by existing. So that doesn't matter. And yeah, I don't get Devastator Doctrine turn 2, 3, 4, but I've broken your back turn 1, so I don't care anymore. So yeah, this is a lot of gun. It's a very much gun heavy list. And then we go into a fortification network with a Sky Shield landing pad, and that's there to make sure if I go second, Fire Raptor, at least one of the Fire Raptors and one of the Storm Talons have a 5-up inbound. So they can't just instantly be sniped out the sky by a las cannon heavy list. That was one problem I had last alpha. Was this? I only had 1 Fire Raptor and it would die turn 1 if they had range. So this sort of fixes that a little bit. And then I have a Spearhead of Imperial Fists with a Captain on bike who's going to be a Chapter Master. He's got a Thunderhammer, a Storm Shield, and he is basically on a bike, so he can move with the flyers and give them all full rerolls. They get rerolls to hit and reroll 1s to wound because he's like a mini Gilliman on a bike. So 20-inch movement, and he can basically be anywhere on the map because the maps are so easy to navigate for Alpha. And basically what it amounts to is I will always get full rerolls unless I need to position my flyers in such a way to kill a character. Which does happen. I can maneuver my flyers to be behind your screen and then kill the screen with another flyer and then just kill your characters. It's pretty easy. And then the artillery is going to be a Thunderfire Cannon, 2 Whirlwinds with Castellan, 1 with Vengeance, 1 with Castellan, and then 3 Hyperios Whirlwinds. And it's just there for the extra killing things. Like, it's killing things. It's easy, it's killing things. Okay, we're going to do our last one here, which is Gusi, who has taken Space Marines. And it looks like Raven Guard. Raven Guard being a super popular choice right now. Chapter Master, Jump Pack Power X, Storm Shield, Lieutenant, so he's got the rerolls, the reroll bubble, Scouts, Inceptor. Really, really interested to see why people are taking Inceptor as Raven Guard. I'm just weirded out by it a little bit. And then he's got a Iron Hand successor. Oh, excuse me. With a Lieutenant, Tech Marine, Scouts, Thunderfire. Don't get this at all. Let's look at this next one and see. Okay, now I get it. And then he has a Spearhead of Iron Hands with a Venerable Dread. Contemptor. So basically, his Tech Marines give the Contemptors all +1 to hit and the Venerable Dread. So these are mostly going to be hitting on 2s or 2s? Yeah, 2s or 3s. If they don't move 2s, then they move 3s. My only worry is, if these are going to be in Deep Strike, that means he has scouts to screen everything else. Because this is going to be a character, and one of these is going to be a character. And then everything else is two Contemptors, and then 6 squad of scouts is the only things that are going to be on the board. And killing scouts isn't easiest. I will admit to that. It's not easy at all. But at the same time, 3 turns in, if you're getting line of sight blocked, because you have a single Thunderfire cannon, just hide out of line of sight from this army, kill off the scouts with any artillery you have, and then eventually it's going to come to a point where he doesn't have any scouts left, or they're very much reduced. The Inceptors are dead or are on the board killing your stuff. That's a forlorn prospect at that point. But there's going to come a point where the only things on the board are these vehicles and a bunch of characters, and you're going to be able to go to town. That's play this. If you're playing against this list, play the long game, because this is very much this list can play the long game unless it loses all its scouts. So you want to focus on killing the scouts and then killing everything else, I think. And 2 of these dreadnoughts, I guess, because 2 of these dreadnoughts don't have protection. But anyway, I think we'll stop it there at the Juicy G's. Look at this, another Raven Guard. Raven Guard. Oh my god. Look at these guys. So we're going to stop it here. And for part 3, we're going to be on Hanzo, and we'll probably go down to Mr. Barlow. So that's another like 20-ish lists that we'll do there. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me on my adventure through the lists. This is episode 2 of Glarg makes bad decisions and bases his opinion on terrible reasons for Alpha League. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you later, dudes.